Well, I brought Hank's Constant into the yard, pulled off the two F7s, and I'm replacing them with the BR212s from H-Trans. I just don't know why these Empires just are not cutting it cost-wise. Um, it also let me add two more planker cars and maintain speed, so hopefully we won't lose as much as we were before. Now, sending back onto the planks constant, I did by doing this kind of a reset, get him off. He was showing the wrong. He was showing the original. Well, not the original, because the original was a sacker on that line. But he was showing the last time I changed out the engines properly. And there is two ways you can do it. You can do it in such a way where you just swap the engines and it leaves the old engine type as the vehicle ID, and other ways. So the Fixit game is going good. Um, I have a feeling I decided not to do the change for the reduction. I just want to see if keeping it at speed, close to the speed, and just reducing. It's increasing the cost, but I increased the capacity, so it's sort of a. It's going to be a wash. I have a feeling, and we'll see. Hey, we got a new incineration plant. We got a new factory. But that means scrap yards. And scrap yards are tougher because they just don't make you money. But they're cheap because I can throw the cheapest trains, the slowest trains, and just keep them, going. I have hit a point though where I'm starting to look at this and say, I think we may have got it as fixed as this is going to get and still be able to service everything we were looking at. Short of going back and restarting everything from scratch, I'm not certain we can. We're at 54,000, and it is time to do something, and that is a check in. So this is the Nova DT69. Yes, I have weird because of how many games I have played, and I do keep most of them. I do keep most of them. This is May 87. And the reason I wanted to look at that is because we're going to go back and take a look at that last version of Devil's Towers that I have saved, which is the 123 game. As you can see, I had other things out there. I had monorail out there, like I do in that 125 million is what we've got to take and beat. 125 million by 2025, January 26th. But we're starting. We're starting to build that. I don't foresee these 4 to 5 million runs. And as you can see, we were still fighting down in this game in the 1.3 range, the 1 to 2 million range for a long time into the 20 teens. And it was basically starting doing exactly what I'm doing now, cleaning up this map a little bit, that turned it around. Let's put it back so that north is the correct way. And we'll go to somewhere where you recognize good old Brenton and what that fuel yard still looked like. It was a totally different growth. Realize everything was a different growth. Corporate headquarters never moved. This was Kelly's headquarters. That's the top end headquarters right there. You don't go beyond that. At least, not yet. I hope someday down the road they do an even better one. I am thinking about it is time to start considering a few specialty yards. And I'm thinking that it's time to start a new game, a game from scratch. Uh, which game did it abandon? I think we'll keep Max Chaos going for a little bit longer. It's actually ahead of this current game, but this is the kind of mess that I was still dealing with. Malafield Junction, the knot wasn't as bad as what you saw earlier and what you see in Devil's Chaos, but it's or Chaos Max Chaos. It's still bad. This is kind of just an update. Where are I? Where am I in my goals? And with 40 years to go, a little under 40 years, coming up on 35, I'd say we're actually doing really good on those goals. I would also say that it's time to start thinking about, instead of monorail, high speed rail, true high speed rail. And I have thought about that for two lines specifically. And those two lines, when they do it, it's going to be ugly. Because it's basically these two. So the short run out to Brenton Steele and the run out to the other end. So let's go back to our game. Now that we've done our check, we see what we're up against, what we're trying to avoid. Now, the line that we need to call into is this line. And this line is going to require us to build differently. So, first things first, where is his supplies coming from? Well, that's actually a pretty easy set. He's coming from no further out than Pollingby, 2 in Rooster's Reach, and of course the Crude Gully Cred Rivers over there at Springmouth. He is in our zone. That's pretty much our power zone, so the connecting into the power is going to be easy to let him supply power. And the hardest part is going to be a routing that does not jam up a main line with slower trains, because there's no need to take and have these guys go. Now there is a new option that I may take and try, and that is to use the waypoints. And by giving certain things a priority signal to let them grab as far as they want, a way to take and see it. I haven't seen if the priority signals actually work the way I think they do. And signaling is part of what I'm trying to learn on the advanced signaling. So let's see what we can do to service this setup. First thing, I know I'm going to service off this as a main line. And it's already a slower main line, so that's good news. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my double ups, do my first throw out, and then we've got an issue already. Can we see it? Yep. We need to take and do a whole bunch of landmark. All right, now here we're going to raise up these 3 blocks. Get everybody back where they belong here, in my opinion at least. I know a lot of folks, I just don't like losing underneath something, one of my tools, and the train tools are huge. Yes, I could go to the smaller tool button, but ladies and gentlemen, I'm an old man. The vision ain't what used to be, and this ain't a great big screen. It's bigger than I'm used to, but it's still not me taking the computer out and running it on the TV set. Oh yeah, it's set up to do that. And I might do that this afternoon for a short while. Then again, I may not. All right, so there's my setup. I am going to take out the crossover at this point now, because with this connected up, I can now do this, give this a signal right about there, and then we can figure out what we're going to do here, right there. Okay. Now, do I want to do a clockwise or a counterclockwise loop? We're going to do a clockwise loop for a change. I normally do a counterclockwise. It's just the way I am. Technically, it should be a counterclockwise because the bulk of my trains are going to come in this way. But we'll see what we can do. Now we need to do a connector line across. So that means this is going to get a full-on junction here. Down further, take out the crossover that's up here and see what we can do to make this a little bit better. So we're going to do this instead of where we're at. Take out this section for just a second. Do a couple of fixes here. Only needs to come to here because we're going to single line across. To a different connection point to tie in to reach these yards over here. Which are going to be our tough yards to service. And I got carried away with the down. Bye. Don't worry, we'll fix the smoothing here. A little bit of rail, right like this. This is what we're doing. Gonna bring him in and have him connect weird, but at the same time, there's a reasoning behind it. I don't see the need for more than one of these guys. I do see the need to start considering bridging out and over. So we're going to do our first bridge. Just a little old stone arch. Do a fill here so that we can keep lines set the way they should. And then we will have some double line track in an area that normally I would be against it. But hey, what can I say? And then right about there in the midpoint. Again, just about the midpoint, and then up here by junction. So that ties in our first one. And now we just got to figure out how to tie into here. And I have an idea. It is an Enuke idea. No. It's also too cruel. Now we're going to be bringing 3 different lines along here. So at some point, there's going to have to be a passing siding on this. And I think we're going to do that right in here. So that these boys can function across. And you know what? I actually don't like that. Hold on. We're going to do a left running section of rail. A rare left running section of rail. Let's give ourselves a note too so that we know. It's an efficiency siding. So the cargo going in will be straight shotted, not having to do the swing out, swing in. The empties can do the swing out, swing in because they're a little bit more mobile. So we'll do our signals. Oops, nope. Opposite of what we normally would. Take this guy out. So the train's going to come up this one and down this one to go to the place. And that's a rarity. There are huge sections of track that happens on here, in America even. The primary climb is left running for out of Ogden up to what they call Curvo inside of Echo Canyon as it goes up the climb into the Colorado, well, not exactly the Colorado Plateau, but the high desert lands of along the north slope of the Uintas. All right. With that set, now we need to find a dispatch yard that's handy. There's one right there. And I got to find out why I didn't have signaling on this and whether or not we should consider doing people out to these guys. I'm going to just go with just the slowest train I got. Thank goodness he's going to be around for a long time. And of course, the waste dumpers. We only need the 5 car. That's all I can really do. Or is it? You know what? We didn't see how much space we allowed ourselves here. You know what? We could do a 6 or a 7 car. I wonder if that would increase enough. So each waste car costs us 8 cents a click. For trash, we get 8 cents a click. So it takes 1 unit of trash per car, plus your engine coverage. And we chose a nice cheap engine. It only cost us $4. So our total train right now at 475. 8 cents times that. Still ain't very good, is it, people? It's only about $8, $9. That's right. $8 or $9 is all those. So they don't pay for their own items, but because it's going to generate electricity, this makes us slightly different because the more electrons we push, the more money we get. And let's face it, for an electrical line run, right there, we're going to be dropping in 1, 2, 3 wires in a transformer. That's about what? Let's take a peek. Transformer's 2,500. The wires are going to cost us 18, so 25.18 plus the monthly fee, which is, oh no, that is the monthly fee, so it's 20, 25.24 plus 18 and 80, so 98 bucks a month. We'll push more than that electrons out per month, as long as it's getting garbage on a regular basis, because these things produce 91 or 1,568 units it can take in. The production consumes waste. Doesn't tell us how much electricity it's going to produce. It's our megawatt production. Okay, so it can produce 91. I'm pretty certain that's how that goes. We're going to find out. So with a 7 car, I can set up a 7 platform there, and we can do a 6th here, add back in 2 cars, and as you see, this train's still going to do its full 60 miles an hour, or 60 clicks an hour. Now this one we got to take and tell it what we're doing. And high, schedule. You're going here, here. You're going to do a left run, buddy. Here, here. Oops. Going to there, not that one. Okay, now add stop. That left running threw me off one. All right. Using the waypoints to make certain he doesn't go seeking routes, because my engineers are trying to not unionize, but radicalize. They want to have the freedom to take the train with them on their vacations, is the way I'm viewing it. And corporate is not as happy with that as they think. By this time, we've been into the son of Calico Jack, the original one who would have, Cali Jack, who would have croaked by now. So there we go. We've got it set up. Down the road, I may do a diagonal and bridge over this, which is a good, strong possibility. Right now, because that's really not a big road, it's just doing, it's the feeder road to the relay for the oil tanker. Now we need to do the important section of that. Where were we again? There he is. Do that electrical hook in. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, we have to do it as a bridge over the yards now because of the time. Now stack containers are available. So stack containers made trains taller. So it's going to cost me a little bit more than what I initially thought, but at the same time, we're still doing all right. There's our power plant in. We're good to go. So the first line is now up and running. Now we need to find the other one at Rooster's Perch, which is this one. Now this is getting to be interesting, isn't it? All right. So that becomes his feeder line. He's going to tie in right there. We're going to have to take out that signal, move it back to here, put one there once we get it in. Let's go ahead and finish our tunnel to get service over to there. Yes, I could have brought him in like this, but that would have required double lining anyway. So I'm trying to speed up the amount of trash that we're getting to these so that we generate more power. And we are going with longer trains now. Another thing is I think I can dispatch from somewhere closer. Gotta be another dispatch yard here. Depots, train. Got an awful lot of vehicles we can sell too. Not Twin Manors, not Old Scratch. No, because we're looking the wrong way right now. That's the other thing that's goofing me up. Satellite Yard might indeed be the closest, other than the ones on the. We have the Upper Duck Ponds dispatch. I don't think he'd be able to get through, though. Yeah. So we're just going to dispatch out of here, just like the last one. Garbage heap dispatch. And just pile on those waste cars till we hit the 6 full. Right there. Sorry about that. Allergy season is upon us, as we all know. All right, so we're coming from this guy. Oops. Hi. Schedule. New schedule. He's going to come to here. And we're going to have to tell him to take some waypoints because otherwise he's going to try to get creative. Remember, that's a left runner. It goes back to right running here. Tag out. Come back. Go the other side. Yeah. There we go. 100% that personal load. Um, Let's see. Growing centric waster. We're going to call that the central waster because pretty much of all of them, he's more central than the others. So we're going to call this, whoops, wrong bot. So central, central reclamation power because we're reclaiming it, the power from the waste. And that's going to be it for now. We are going to do one thing though. I need to find out what's going on here. Yeah, we got a bunch of trains. Let's get some money. There we go. Hopefully that wasn't a train I was working on. Find out the hard way here in a few minutes. And again, we're going to clear it out, get some of that money back. This is obviously, yeah, that was obviously just playing with logos to figure out which logo I was using. I don't mind having 6 vehicles in stations. And looking at my road vehicles, nobody's in the road garages. Ship vehicles are the same. I don't have the monorail deployed, don't have airplanes. Tram, no vehicles in the tram barns. And we are going to take and see about upgrading our trams next episode. I'm Kelly Jack. Have a better day than I'm having. And hopefully you learned a few things, especially like terms like left running, right running, a few other things along the way looking at me because I do try to bring in some of the real railroad terms every once in a while. Yes, I do watch those guys' videos, and I know they view those of us that game weirdly.